Did you know that between 30 and 50% of people are introverts? That's nearly half the population. Yet most of us have been taught that the way introverts think is somehow wrong. But what if it's not a flaw? What if it's actually a completely different operating system? If you've ever felt like your brain works differently, like you're processing the world on a wavelength most people don't see, you're not imagining it. Today we're exploring whether introversion isn't just about being quiet, but about thinking in a fundamentally different way. Here's the problem. Society treats introversion like it's just shyness, being antisocial, or something you need to grow out of. Like you're supposed to come out of your shell. But that completely misses the point. Because introversion isn't really about where you get your energy. It's about how your mind processes information, makes decisions, and understands the world around you. Think about what happens when something unexpected comes up. An extrovert might talk it through immediately. They bounce ideas off people. They think while speaking. But you do the opposite. You retreat inward. You replay the situation. You examine it from multiple angles. You connect it to past experiences. And only after all of that do you form your response. The problem is, this internal process is invisible. So from the outside, people assume nothing is happening. They label you hesitant, indecisive, or an overthinker. When in reality, your brain is doing something incredibly complex. It's just doing it quietly. So the real question isn't, what's wrong with introverts? It's what's actually happening in that inner world that most people never see. And this is where it gets interesting. Research shows that introverted brains often have thicker gray matter in certain areas, especially right behind the forehead. If your brain were a house, introverts would have a larger thinking room, more space for thoughts to spread out, connect, and mature. But it doesn't stop there. Introverts tend to rely on what psychologists call long-form thinking. While extroverts process ideas in real time, responding quickly to what's happening around them, introverts process through internal reflection. It's the difference between sketching ideas on a whiteboard and building a detailed model in your mind. You can see this play out in everyday conversations. You're with friends. Someone brings up a topic, maybe a news story or a debate about a movie. Everyone starts sharing opinions immediately, but you're still processing the very first thing someone said. You're thinking about nuance, connecting it to something you read last week, considering how your response might land. By the time your thought is fully formed, the conversation has already moved on. Weekend plans, someone's new job. It's not that you had nothing to say, it's that your brain was building a complete thought while everyone else was reacting to the first impulse. This happens again and again. You're not slower, you're just operating on a different timeline. While others think out loud, you think deeply, and deep thinking takes time. There's another strength that comes with this. Introverts naturally notice patterns others miss. Because you spend so much time reflecting internally, you're constantly connecting dots, recognizing relationships, and sensing when something feels off, even before you can explain why. That's why introverts often excel at strategic thinking, creative problem solving, and anticipating outcomes. You're not just reacting to what's in front of you. You're seeing the larger picture before it fully forms. But there is a cost. Because all of this happens internally, it's exhausting. Every interaction requires you to translate a rich inner world into external words. It's like constantly switching between two languages. So if this way of thinking is so valuable, why does it feel like a disadvantage sometimes? Here's the key insight. Introversion isn't just a personality trait. It's a legitimate cognitive style, a different form of intelligence. The problem was never how you think. The problem is that we live in a world designed for external processors. Open offices, brainstorming sessions, immediate responses rewarded over thoughtful ones. Speak up, or you're not engaged. But depth, careful consideration, pattern recognition, and the ability to sit with complexity without rushing to conclusions are not weaknesses. They're cognitive strengths the world desperately needs. Some of history's most influential thinkers were introverts. Albert Einstein did his best thinking in solitude. Rosa Parks changed a nation through quiet strength. Bill Gates, Steve Wozniak, and J.K. Rowling built extraordinary things by thinking deeply, not loudly. They didn't succeed despite being introverts. They succeeded because of it. Your mind isn't broken. It's operating on a different frequency. And once you stop forcing yourself to think like everyone else and start honoring how your mind actually works, everything changes. Understanding this is one thing. Living it is another. That's where small, daily decisions matter. That's why I created a free 3-day starter workbook called Daily Micro Decisions for Introverts. It's not about changing who you are. It's about making tiny, intentional choices that protect your energy, honor your boundaries, and help you trust your internal process. The link is in the description below. So, is introversion a special form of thinking? Absolutely. It values depth over speed, internal processing over external expression, and pattern recognition over immediate reaction. It's not better or worse. It's simply different and just as valuable. The world needs both kinds of thinkers: quick talkers and quiet strategists, immediate responders and careful observers, external processors and internal architects. Your introverted mind isn't something to fix. It's something to understand, protect, and leverage. Because when you stop fighting how you think and start working with it, you don't just survive, you thrive. Let me ask you this. Do you recognize this thinking style in yourself? What's one way your mind works that others don't always understand? Leave a comment below. And if this helped you see your mind differently, tap the like button so this reaches others who need to hear that their thinking style isn't a flaw. Subscribe if you want more of this. We're building a space for reflective thinkers who are done apologizing for how their minds work. Until next time, keep honoring that beautiful, complex inner world of yours. It's more valuable than you know.